Chainsaw Man is one of the more overhyped series to come out of Shonen Jump, and to be honest, I didn't even know about the series until an anime was announced for it. I kinda blew it off as a whatever anime, but of course what comes with a new series come with more ignorant ass fans. Chainsaw Man fans were hyping up the series like it was the second coming of Jesus Christ, mainly saying how much better it was compared to Jujutsu Kaisen, even though Jujutsu Kaisen came out first, and you know, most of Chainsaw Man is pretty much a fucking ripoff of Jujutsu Kaisen, but that's neither here or there. And even after reading this manga, I still don't understand how Chainsaw Man is better than Jujutsu Kaisen when Jujutsu Kaisen is a more fleshed out version of Chainsaw Man. But being the curious motherfucker that I am, I went and read those measly ass 97 chapters and I came out pretty disappointed. And I can't even be mad because I knew when going in that whenever a series is hyped up to oblivion, it's usually either trash or extremely underwhelming. Now, I don't even know where to start with Chainsaw Man. I guess I'll start by saying that if you're one of those people that like a fast-paced story with lots of fights, then Chainsaw Man is the series for you. But if you're one of those people that values a well-paced story with depth and consistency with a fleshed out cast of characters, then Chainsaw Man is not going to be the series for you because Chainsaw Man lacks in all those departments. If I had to sum up the Chainsaw Man manga in one sentence, I would say it's a Michael Bay film turned into a comic book because it's chaotic shit happening all over the place in that manga. And yeah, I get it, that's the whole point of the manga, but that doesn't mean that it makes it good. Creating a chaotic, fast-paced story doesn't allow the author to fully flesh out his cast of characters as well as the world in the story. And most importantly, it can make readers fatigue when they're constantly reading action scene after action scene with very little downtime because the author is constantly in a rush trying to get to the next action sequence. Which sums up about 80% of the reason why I found Chainsaw Man to be pretty disappointing after reading it twice. The rest of my issues with Chainsaw Man stems from Denji and Makima as characters, and to be honest, I should probably put every side character who isn't Power, Angel, Aki, or Reze on the list as well, because in most cases the side characters are either there to be killed off or move the story along. They serve no other purpose other than that. Angel, Power, Aki, and Reze are easily the best characters in the whole series, with Aki taking the #1 spot by a fucking landslide. Aki is the only fleshed out character in the whole series. He's well developed from an emotional and ideal perspective. He has a motive that makes sense and drives the story, and also whenever Aki is getting screen time, I feel like I'm learning more about the world of Chainsaw Man. Angel also has some great moments as a character, and in my opinion, he's the most developed devil in the whole series, thanks to the assistance of Aki. Power is also a good fun character with developed moments here and there, but has a lacking backstory that can be seen as whatever. And Reze is a more tolerable version of Denji, as her and Denji have similar backgrounds where they both weren't able to live normal lives because of unfortunate circumstances. Reze also gives a new perspective to Denji's character, pretty much giving Denji the ammunition to develop more as a character, but as the story goes on, it's pretty clear that Denji drops the ball on that shit completely, as in the later chapters you'll see that Denji still chooses to be controlled by Makima and doesn't realize he's fucked up until the very last minute. But Reze tells Denji that she doesn't think that Denji is really living a normal life because of the restrictions that the Devil Hunter Association is giving him. Like, Denji is not allowed to do normal people things like go to school and other shit, etc, that really normal people would do. And overall, she just thinks that Denji is being used as a pawn to benefit the Devil Hunter Association instead of them trying to benefit him or, you know, help him live a normal life. Like, she sees it as a fucked up way to live a life, essentially, like, because Denji is pretty much looking at the glass halfway full with him just being able to eat udon noodles or him just being able to talk to Makima and Aki on an everyday basis. She's like, nah, fuck all that, dude. You're not really living a normal life because these restrictions are keeping you from wanting to do other things like go to school and learn and communicate with other people and etc, etc. But Reze adds this new perspective to Denji's character, which I really don't think Denji followed up well on. But as a villain in the series, she does a great job in forcing the main character to think about his original goals and how he wants to go about them. Overall, Reze is just the best written villain in this whole series. She has a backstory that's interesting and adds more information to the world of Chainsaw Man, and she also has some great development moments as a character, which leads to her wanting to meet up with Denji again despite her original mission being to kill Denji and take his heart. She also does some super dope shit in the manga that makes her character really appealing. Also, if you take a good look at her character, she's kind of a ripoff of Toka from Tokyo Ghoul, especially when you start getting into the specifics as far as their affiliations with the coffee shop, them both having demons inside of them. them both trying to make the main characters come to a realization about some things, them falling in love with the main character, them both looking exactly the fucking same. Like, the similarities are fucking crazy. But even with all that being said, none of these things take away her contributions to the series of Chainsaw Man. Now, as for Denji's character, bruh. This is the part where I start shitting on the characters. Denji's character in a nutshell is a broke ass horny loser who is only motivated to do stuff in exchange for sexual favors. Like, this motherfucker's the equivalent of a nigga with 3 sexual assault cases on his permanent record. And I'm tired of the Chainsaw Man fanboys trying to make him seem more deeper than what he actually is. Like, wanting to live a normal life is not a deep concept, especially when you take into account how many anime characters went through the same shit as Denji, if not even worse. And hell, they were even handled better than Denji. Naruto, Tanjiro, you don't think they wanted to live a normal life as well? Naruto wanted to become Hokage to force people into acknowledging him. Tanjiro literally risked his life and became a demon slayer just to go out and find a cure for his sister who was caught in the family slaughter. And you don't see no one out here doing a microscopic review on their characters. Like, no, fuck out of here with that shit. Motherfuckers praising Denji for being a breath of fresh air because he's this regular ass dude who wants to live a normal life and have lots of sex is such low hanging fruit that is not even fucking funny, bro. Like, it's some real shallow shit, but I start to realize that as I continue to do this review, all the shallow shit that these motherfuckers praise in Chainsaw Man, whether it's Makima, Denji, or hell this manga entirety, I start to realize that the motherfuckers that praise the shallow shit are shallow themselves. Like, if you was to ask me, I think the only reason why you Chainsaw Man fans sympathize so much with Denji's character is because deep down inside, every time you see Denji's character, you see a mirror reflection of your loser ass selves. Because there's a lot of you motherfuckers out there that are fucking lame. I see the memes of y'all with a Photoshop dog leash on y'all neck, simping over Makima, saying y'all want to be her dogs and shit. Y'all over here fucking simping over a 2D drawing in a dress, saying she got ass. Like, a lot of you motherfuckers are weirdos just like Denji. And y'all be the same motherfuckers on Twitter trying to get on other people about how to dissect the character. Like, get to know yourselves first before y'all try to dissect the fictional character, because newsflash, these motherfuckers aren't real. Denji through 90% of Chainsaw Man is literally a horny ass loser, a shallow one at that. He has good moments as a character throughout the series, but the good moments are heavily ratioed by the bad moments, which is really infuriating because Denji has moments where he's shown to be a logical character. Like, he has the potential to be a good character, not a great one, but a good one. But he fucks it all up whenever a woman enters his vicinity. Like, his infatuation with Makima completely ruins his character. Like, I understand that he likes her a lot because she was the first person to be nice to him and all this other corny ass shit, but when you acknowledge that the bitch is batshit crazy and you still choose to simp over her, yeah, that discredits everything about your character. And no, it wasn't because Makima made him do it, because I know a lot of you Chainsaw Man fan motherfuckers are gonna be like, oh, Denji was only simping over Makima because Makima made him do it. No, that's not the case at all. Makima didn't have full control over Denji's body until Denji's stupid ass went to that apartment and told Makima that he wanted to become her dog. Up until that point, Makima's confusing ass powers, which are still confusing to this fucking day, did not force Denji to act fake woke and peacefully kill a demon so he can preserve the condition of some porno magazines. And that's not the only time he does some sicko shit. This motherfucker fought a big ass demon bat just so he can feel some titties. And once he felt the titties, he was like, nah, I don't like these titties. I like Makima's titties. It's either Makima or nobody. And it's like, oh, okay, so you're broke and picky. Like, that's the worst combination you can be in life. Like, the author literally takes Denji's character and tosses that shit out of a window, just to go outside and pick it back up and go in the house and toss the shit out all over again. And then Chainsaw Man fans wonder why people shit on Denji's character so much. Like, you can't make a character this broke, horny, and stupid and not expect people like me to shit all over him. And for all of you, oh, Denji is such a deep and complex character, head ass niggas out there need to stop reading too much into some shit. Because most of the time, there's nothing there to read into, especially with fucking Denji. Denji is a basic ass character, and I don't care what the Chainsaw Man fans say, but this motherfucker is as generic as white bread. Like, how fucking low is the bar if we're considering Denji to be a well-written character? Like, if Denji is a well-written character, then what the fuck is Takemichi from Tokyo Revengers? And I want you Chainsaw Man fans to stop telling me to watch analysis videos on Denji's character so I can understand him better. Like, no bitch, I read Chainsaw Man twice. Why the fuck would I watch another person's video of them telling me something about a character I already know about? Like, what fucking sense does that make? If you have to watch a analysis video on something you just got done reading or watching, then clearly your comprehension levels wasn't present when you was reading or watching that specific thing. Because in most cases, that thing that you're watching the analysis video on was already present to you when you was reading the fucking story. It just takes you to pay attention to the fucking story. Like, I don't think people realize just how easy it is to make an analysis video on YouTube. Like, all you have to do is just Wikipedia the specific thing you're doing the analysis video on and just read that shit into a microphone. You want to learn about Naruto's character? Well, just Google Naruto and go to his fucking Wikipedia page and read that shit into a microphone. There you go, Naruto's character explained in the video. You want to learn more about Super Saiyans? Well, guess what? Google Super Saiyans and read their Wikipedia page. There you fucking go. Super Saiyan explained video. Like, the shit is not that fucking hard. But let me get off of Denji's character, because him and these fucking Chainsaw Man fans are pissing me off with this fucking Denji's a deep character bullshit. Now, let's talk about Makima. Now, Makima has to be one of the most whatever the fuck anime characters to ever exist. Like, this bitch just pops up out of fucking nowhere all the time and does some crazy shit that'll make the reader be like, holy shit, what the fuck just happened? Like, one minute this bitch is getting shot up on a train, and then the next minute she's doing some weird voodoo shit that's making motherfuckers disappear in the middle of the street. Like, the fuck? Like, one minute this bitch is going on a random ass movie day with Denji so they can talk about how much life in movies suck and shit, and then the next minute this bitch is in the alleyway fucking up Reze. And it's like, bro, this character just pops up out of nowhere and does random shit. Like, the whole point of her character is just to fuck with Denji mentally and make Denji unlock the full power of the Chainsaw Devil. Like, it's some of the most shallow shit I have ever read in a long ass time. Her reveal as a villain was complete horseshit, as it was so fucking obvious since chapter 2 that this bitch was up to something, especially when I read that chapter where she got shot in the head and she rose up like the fucking Undertaker and casually went to a ceremony ritual where she just started knocking motherfuckers off and making them disappear in the middle of the street. It was at that point I realized, oh, okay, she's like the background villain of the series or some shit. They're being extra secretive about her powers. She's making motherfuckers wear blindfolds. She's over here doing satanic voodoo gang signs and shit. So it's like, oh, okay, she's clearly the villain of the series, alright? No need to ask there. It was also obvious as hell that Makima was only using Denji for his Chainsaw Devil because, surprise, surprise, Makima does nothing but show favoritism to Denji throughout the whole series, i.e. filling Denji's hands up with nothing but her titties. And not even that though, Makima literally pops the fuck up out of nowhere just to talk to Denji. Shit, chapter 2 alone is damn near a giveaway. And it's pretty clear that Makima doesn't do a good job in being a good character, because the only time Chainsaw Man fans bring her up is when they're talking about her ass. Like, imagine being known more for your ass than your actual character. And it's not even like her ass looks great or anything. Her ass looks like a bent elbow. Like, Chainsaw Man female characters aren't drawn the best. All them bitches look like melted crayons. And then you have all these weird ass motherfuckers out here simping over Makima, talking about she's a great character and shit. Like, no, fuck out of here, bro. If you're acting thirsty as hell over a fucked up drawing, then God forbid you actually see a real naked woman's body. Like, if you guys aren't noticing the trend yet in this video, it's that Chainsaw Man fans are extremely fucking horny. Like, they're horny ass losers, bro. You know the saying where they say that you are what you read? Well, that fits this shit perfectly, alright? Because only Chainsaw Man fans will hype up a character because of her ass. Like, only Chainsaw Man fans would try to make a horny broke ass loser like Denji seem more deeper and complex than what he actually is. The other issue I have with Chainsaw Man is the lack of story depth. Most of the information we get from the world of Chainsaw Man is touch and go. They tell you about the devil hunters as well as the organization and the devils, but they never give you enough information that will make you feel like you have a full understanding of what's going on in the series. Like, in most cases, they'll tell us about something and and then they'll just leave it completely. They'll never try to go into depth about it. Like, for example, what the fuck is hell in Chainsaw Man? Like, what makes the hell in Chainsaw Man so special that it allows the devils to be reincarnated on Earth when they get killed in there? Like, is there some type of loophole or some shit we don't know about? Because last time I checked, whenever someone dies and they go to hell, they perish forever in the lake of fire. But for some reason in Chainsaw Man, you can get knocked off any time of the day in hell and you right back on Earth with the homies. Like, how is that possible? In chapter 74, this motherfucker Angel remembers his whole past after they already stated that devils can't remember anything from their previous lives. The only thing they remember is the roaring engine from the Chainsaw Devil. So like, can it now remember things from their previous lives now? Because all Makima said was that's in order, and then from that point on, Angel started remembering everything about his fucking past. So you're telling me that now Angel was able to remember his whole past because Makima said something at that moment that reminded him of that moment when she told him to reveal his powers? Because if devils are capable of having epiphanies off of remembering things from their previous lives, then that would mean that devils would be capable of remembering things from their previous lives. And it will also go against the rule that the series has set for itself as far as saying that devils aren't capable of remembering anything from their previous lives. And then if it comes out later in part 2 of Chainsaw Man that devils are capable of remembering things from their previous lives, then I would have to ask the question of, okay, how the fuck is that possible? Like, what kept them from remembering their past to previous times? Like, those are just a couple of examples of the lack of depth in Chainsaw Man. They tell us about the origins of the devils and where they come from, which is hell, but they don't tell us enough about hell itself to make me feel like I have a full understanding of it. Hell, I still don't know what the fuck Pochita is. The only thing I know about Pochita is that his true form is the Chainsaw Devil, and apparently he has the ability to erase devils from existence by consuming them, which has me asking the question, why is Pochita the only devil in the series with that ability? Like, who the fuck is the overseer in hell? Like, usually when you read a depiction of hell, they usually tell you they have a leader named Satan or Lucifer, right? Hell, even in Black Clover, their hell has a leader and his name is Lucifero, and he's the strongest devil in the whole series. In Chainsaw Man, we don't know who the fuck is the leader of all devils. All we know is that there's a hell devil who embodies the fear of hell, and the darkness devil who embodies the fear of darkness. So it's like, okay, who is the leader of all these motherfuckers? Like, who's the king of all devils, or hell, who is just the king of hell? Because whoever the fuck it is, they should have the ability that Pochita has that allows them to erase devils from existence by eating them. Like, where the fuck is the king devil? The devil that's supposed to embody the fear of Satan or Lucifer. And see, that's just on the devil side of it. Don't get me started on the devil hunters and the public safety. Like, bro, we're literally just thrown into a world of devil hunters with no introduction. Chainsaw Man literally starts off with Denji's broke ass monologuing, saying, oh, I had to sell my kidney for about 1.2 mil, had to sell one of my balls for 100K, an eyeball for 300K, and you know what's fucked up? Is that the average shallow reader will read that bullshit and be like, oh my god, Denji is so different from the rest of the main characters in Shonen Jump, he had to sell one of his balls, oh my god, this is already peak fiction. And what I have to say to that is, bro, go outside and touch some grass. Because if that's the shit that got you saying peak fiction, then I feel bad for the future of anime. Like, today's anime already fucking sucks, but y'all not making it any better with this mindset. But we're just thrown into a world of devil hunters without no introduction or explanation. It's just devil hunters going around killing demons for money and shit, because I guess that's the best way to collect money in that world. They also have a public safety, which is a devil hunters headquarters, which they don't really tell us anything about them motherfuckers as well. The only thing we know about them is that they're like the police station where they just go around saving people from devils and shit. But there's obviously some other shit going on inside of there. Like, they tell us that they have devils locked up in the underground where they capture them, but they never tell us the procedures in them trying to keep the devils locked up, because you know, devils never tried to break out of their jail cells before, right? They're just very content in being there, you know, considering that they're devils and they want to fuck shit up. But you know, it doesn't matter, because Chainsaw Man doesn't tell us us any of these things. They just tell us what's going on and they just keep it fucking going. Like in Jujutsu Kaisen, they tell us the procedures of them locking up curses and keeping them away. But hell, why the fuck am I bringing up Jujutsu Kaisen in the Chainsaw Man video? Because according to my anime list and most anime fans out there, Chainsaw Man is way better than Jujutsu Kaisen. Even though Jujutsu Kaisen is a more in-depth story and an in-depth version of fucking Chainsaw Man, but that's neither here or there. That's blasphemy in the world of Chainsaw Man fans. But let me move on to another topic and address something else. Now, the fights in Chainsaw Man for the most part are pretty predictable and repetitive as fuck. Almost every fight is Denji getting his ass kicked, Denji drinking some blood, getting a power boost, and Denji kicking the devil's ass. It's either that or Makima coming out of nowhere and doing some crazy shit. Now, I'm not going to say all Chainsaw Man fights are like that, but most of the fights are like that. Now, one fight I can think of that doesn't follow that formula is the Reze versus Denji fight. And that's because Denji wasn't necessarily trying to kill Reze. He was trying to do the whole talk no jutsu thing, you know, the whole Naruto thing where he's not trying to kill the enemy because he's trying to talk some sense into them. Denji was more so trying to let Reze see his perspective on things. It was a fight where it showed the human side of both Denji and Rize's characters, which is why I think the Reze Bomb Girl arc is the best arc in Chainsaw Man, because ultimately it leads to Reze wanting to see Denji again because she actually respects him to some degree. And I mean, unfortunately it led to Makima knocking her ass the fuck off, but other than that, it showed the character development side of Denji and Rize's character. There's some other fights in the series that's similar to that, but for the most part, almost every fight in Chainsaw Man is pretty much the same shit I said, where Denji gets a power boost from drinking blood because he got his ass kicked so much, and him kicking the devil's ass. Like, the worst example of this is the Gun Devil Aki fight versus Denji fight. Like, bro, they hyped up the Gun Devil so much only for him to get one-shotted by Denji. Like, the Gun Devil version of Aki was kicking the shit out of Denji's ass, and next thing you know, here comes a swarm of people surrounding Denji, offering him blood and shit, talking about some, hey, you're our only hope, Chainsaw Man, please save us, we want to live. And it's like, bro, what the fuck is this corny ass Superman shit? Like, this shit is not realistic at all. Like, if you used to see two serial killers fighting each other and one of the serial killers was to get their ass kicked, are you gonna walk up to that serial killer and be like, hey, Mr. Serial Killer, take this new weapon right here, because the other day I saw you fighting another serial killer and you protected me and my son? Like, no, you're not gonna do that shit. Like, that shit is not realistic at all. And the fact that these motherfuckers are just so casual about walking up to a dude with a fucking chainsaw coming out of his forehead is so fucking bullshit. Like, there's niggas out there that are scared of bugs, and you're telling me these motherfuckers are just cool with walking up to a nigga with a chainsaw coming out of his forehead and just willingly offering him blood? Like, yeah, hey, yo, my nigga, you need some blood? Hey, take this shit, I got a whole pint size, Kool-Aid size in this bitch, fuck you talking about? Like, no, that shit doesn't make any sense. But after this motherfucker Denji gets all the blood in the fucking world, he gets up and proceeds to one-shot the Gun Devil, and that's the end of the fight, nothing else. And it's like, bro, I already thought this manga was average as hell, but after this fight, shit just shot straight down to the fucking ground. Like, holy shit. And don't get me started with the whole fucking Denji going to Makima's house and saying, hey, you know that favor I told you I'll give you if you defeat the Gun Devil? Hey, what wish do you want? And Denji's simp ass, after going through all this shit, saying, you know what, I want to become one of your dogs because I don't want to have to think for myself. Even though this motherfucker has been thinking logically throughout the whole fucking series, why would you have a problem now? But I guess since pussy's in front of you, you just said, nah, fuck all logic, I just want to be near this bitch. Even though you said this bitch is batshit crazy and she treats motherfuckers like shit for no reason, and she shouldn't treat no one like that, but still, you proceed to simp over this hoe. But fuck it, just whatever the fuck, right? But then we get introduced to one of the worst villain reveals in anime history. This bitch Makima says, oh yeah, Denji, I've been fucking with you this whole time. I introduced you to Power and Aki so I could kill them off and make you feel miserable. I'm a Chainsaw Man fangirl. And it's like, bitch, if you don't get the fuck out of this manga, you have been nothing but a problem and not a good problem. And then we get to the Denji versus Makima fight, and bro, you know throughout the whole series of Chainsaw Man where Makima just pops up out of nowhere and does some crazy OP shit? Why did they choose now to make this bitch dumb as fuck? Like, bro, they had Denji's dumb ass sneak up on her with a fucking chainsaw. Yes, listen to me clearly. Denji snuck up on Makima, the most OP bitch in this series, with a fucking chainsaw. Do you know how fucking loud a chainsaw is? Like, you're telling me that this OP bitch couldn't hear a chainsaw coming from behind her? Like, bro, she saw her reflection on the fucking chainsaw. That's how much time she had to move the fuck out of the way, but she just stood there. And I already know the Chainsaw Man fans are gonna say, oh, Denji already stated that Makima can only recognize people through her smell. Well, let me correct you on that. What Denji said was an assumption. He said he took a gamble, which means that he wasn't 100% sure that she can only recognize people through her smell, which means that there's still a possibility that she can still recognize people by seeing and hearing them. So get the fuck out of here with that shit. But Denji sneaks up on Makima with a Home Depot chainsaw and slashes her in half. From that point on, Denji cuts her up into pieces and puts her in a Ziploc bag, takes her back to the crib and eats her. And boom, bada bam, that's the end of Chainsaw Man. Oh yeah, by the way, Denji still likes Makima. Yes, he says that even after all that shit she's put him through, he still likes her. And you know what makes this weird is because in the last chapter, Makima is reincarnated into a little kid. And guess who has to take care of her? Fucking Denji. So I'm already getting R. Kelly vibes from part 2 of Chainsaw Man. But overall, that's my review of Chainsaw Man. If I have to give it a score, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Now, I do believe Chainsaw Man would be a better anime than it is a manga because there's a lot of things in the manga that would translate better in the anime, like the fights and the aesthetics. Other than that, Chainsaw Man is just average. Like, it's okay. Like, it's definitely nothing to write home about. And all you fans out there that's overhyping it, especially my anime list, let me tell you right now, you're not doing this series any justice by doing that. Chainsaw Man is just a shallow version of Jujutsu Kaisen, and the fact that there's people out there that actually believe that Chainsaw Man is better is actually blasphemy. But all in all, that's pretty much all I have to say. If you guys like the video, please like and subscribe. I very much appreciate it. If you guys would like to discuss some things I said in the video, then hit me up in my Discord. I'll gladly respond to you. But other than that, it's your boy Trigger Senpai, and I'm out, man. Peace.